vacation after.
Well, it's a federal holiday, and in my position, we're not out actively patrolling. So I'm out doing this thing, spreading the word and the cheer and joy of our holiday.
Would you call it non-essential?
Non-essential. I'm no longer essential.
Well, how come we're paying you?
Well, I mean, they got to keep me on the payroll. But
in case you,
now
in
I
case
could
you're
be
essential.
essential if something major happens and I get called out to the scene. But let's hope that don't happen. Let's hope it's a smooth transition this weekend from Wednesday till.
Yeah.
People be getting off work early Wednesday. Some people take off Wednesday and make it a big weekend because y'all have off Friday, as do I. And many people do. So it's always eventful in Bell County, as you just read. The 13-year-old stolen car. That's just another day.
Did you go out there? Were you on the scene there?
I was not. That was I was. Where was I?
A vacation?
No, I was in the area. It was and we had two that. It was at night. I did get notified of it, and then that morning we had another one. So it's people are running from the police more than ever these days. I remember 20 years ago, you talk to some troopers that had 15, 20 years on. They've been in like 5-6 pursuits their whole careers. Wow. I mean, we get in those in 4 or 5 a week. Some days.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. It's people not wanting to act right, I guess, or just more brazen than ever. But don't do it. It's a felony when you invade in a motor vehicle. It used to not be, but now it is, and it's not only that.
It's not slowing them down.
It's dangerous to everybody on the road. It's dangerous to the officers pursuing them. Dangerous to the people in the car and everybody around them.
And those
don't drive like fools.
Those kids weren't even hurt in that rollover.
Fortunately for them, no. But their pride, I guess, a little. They'll get a slap on the wrist, and I mean juveniles. It's a 13-year-old, but he's not a very nice 13-year-old.
Ooh,
Mom must be proud.
I can't go into details, but I have a story I'll tell you off there about Mom. But it's
like is it something about apple in the tree?
Well, it just why. I'm not judging anybody, but you see why a child is that way sometimes because some people just don't give him enough love. Let's just say that. And that's the sad thing because he's 13.
Oh, yes.
The kid don't even.
Those teenage years, they need extra attention.
Yeah, Xbox and stuff, and playing Grand Theft Auto, not living it. I mean, come on.
Wow.
So, but yeah, it's a
sad
deal
such
for him.
Sheltered life.
Hopefully, he can get his life turned around before he ends up 17 and goes straight to prison and ends up a majority of his life in prison or dead. Behavior like that is not going to get him far.
Well,
we all did dumb things when we were young. I'll be the first to admit I did too. But let's hope he can get his little life turned around.
How many officers did you outrun when you were young?
Oh, none.
Yeah.
No, I never had any. I did get stopped when I was 17, 18. I'll tell you my MIP story. It wasn't my beer. It was the guy I was driving because I was a designated driver.
Yeah.
And that's back when troopers shared cars. And this was in, 1995-ish. We were coming back from Cactus Canyon, and I was driving my buddy Jake. He had one beer left in his cooler. And we get on I-14 off I-35, and this car was next to us. And I was in the 78 Chevy truck, straight pipes, loud. Had it done here in Lampasas, actually. It was illegal, but they did it. And he sees this guy wanting to race, or he thought was wanting to race. Of course, Jake was drunk, and he looked over and flipped him off. Well, I look over, and I see this red patch, and I said, man, that's a trooper, because he was just dropped off his car and had his POV going home. Dropped his car off at the partner's house. Next thing I see him talking on his little mic, and I said, man, you're going to get us stopped. Go down Nolanville Hill. Sure enough, the trooper walks up to my door and says, what's your buddy's name? I said, Jake. And he goes over there, and not only did he open the door for Jake, but the beer fell out. His open beer fell out on his boots.
Oh,
and we both got MIPs. $35 fine. Yeah, you gotta love the 90s.
Yeah,
parents never knew about it. It was such a good time to be alive. But I was responsible then. Like I said, I want to make sure my friends got around safe too.
Yeah, it's so good. That's good.
But yeah, I wasn't born in this uniform. But I dang sure wouldn't think of running.
The dark side of
the
Sergeant
the dark side of me.
Yeah.
If these walls could talk. Yeah.
Well, we got a big holiday coming up here on Thursday, and I guess it's all hands on deck.
It is Operation Care, crash reduction awareness, crash awareness reduction effort. All the essential troopers, not me. I'm non-essential. They don't.
Yeah, but let's keep you non-essential over the weekend.
They'll be out in full force. It's not a ticket writing mission. I tell the people all the time, it is a fun time. It's our nation's birthday. Go out and celebrate as we should. we still live in the greatest country, no matter all the nonsense going on and
But don't
politics.
be stupid.
But yeah,
Yeah.
you go out and have fun, and that's what we want. We want to see people to have fun, enjoy their holiday, their long weekends with their family and friends, and like I said, if they partake in the adult beverages, which some people do, and you just ask, don't drive. You'll never get a DWI if you don't get behind the wheel.
It's been proven 100% guaranteed.
That's right.
Yeah.
That you'll never get a DWI.
That's right. That's right.
If you don't DWI.
If you don't DWI, you will never get a DWI.
And being out in the heat and everything, and we talk about the people that are drinking, make sure throw a bottle of water in between a few sets here and there, just because the heat index is very high. People be out on the lakes. Remember, boat safety. You can also get a BWI on a boat. The game wardens are also out in full force on the lakes, making sure the boaters are safe out and about, the jet skiers. So they'll make you swim in a circle, swim a straight line or something. No, I'm just kidding. No,
What?
they will.
Believing
You will.
you
If
there.
they do check on you in all seriousness. If you're out there drinking and you're operating a water vessel, that's the same penalty as the DWI. They'll take you to shore. Either a deputy trooper or they perform the field sobriety testing. You go to jail for boating while intoxicated. Remember, it's a $15,000 penalty as well.
Wow,
First one.
15,000.
Or even worse, you could hit somebody and get somebody killed.
Yeah,
It
that's
nearly
happened.
happened to my wife's cousin a couple years ago out on the lake. They got hit by a drunk boater and nearly killed everybody on the boat. And it was like a 6th, 7th one. It was outrageous.
Wow.
But they're all lucky to be alive, man. Like 4 or 5 years ago, I don't think it was like Belton.
Yeah. I used to go to, what was it, Lake Georgetown.
Jim Hogg.
Jim Hogg. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back when I had a boat. When I was much younger. And it was before they even did the BWI.
Mm-hmm.
That's how many years has that been in effect?
For boating?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's probably well over 20 because I'm in my 26th year, and I think it was back when I started.
Okay,
But
well,
maybe
that
in the
tells
old
you how
days it
old I am.
wasn't.
But I can remember when you get out there with a full cooler
Yeah.
and pull the kids in the tube,
Yeah.
and wouldn't get in trouble for BWI.
Also on the news, did y'all hear about starting January 1st, 2025, about your vehicle inspections?
Oh, no longer, right?
No longer, unless it's a commercial vehicle or if you live in one of those counties that require emissions. So the biggest, most populous areas, I know Bexar County is getting added 2026, but Houston, Dallas, all the places you don't really want to live are as the places where they're going to have the exhaust emissions testing.
That's still going to be in.
That's going to be in effect. You
Okay.
still will pay your $7.50 when you register your car. You just don't have to physically go get it inspected. And I mean, I don't know how to look at that. I look at it this way. I don't make the big laws. Those are people way above my pay grade. But coming from the 90s as a cop, people used to be able to fix their own cars and stuff. I think the reason how, my opinion, is why they gotten away from it, because everything's computerized in the car. We're driving vehicles that have computers in them. You really can't work on them anymore. But the one thing you do have control over are your brakes and your tires. And that's where we see a majority of the crashes, because nobody wants to go out and drop $1,500 on tires. They're expensive, but you start wearing them out, looking at them, say, oh, I got another 2,000 miles on them, or I'll get them next paycheck or next month. And you start putting it off. Well, when it's 115 heat index, you're doing 60, 70 miles an hour down the road. Inside that tire, the heat is so hot, it expands. Your tires are worn, they're weak, they blow up.
Yeah.
You lose a front tire 70 miles an hour, you're going to go to a side skid, possibly in the oncoming traffic, or roll over. So it is very important. But even though there's no more inspections, that's one of the things an officer does when they stop you. They check your conditions of your vehicle.
Will DPS still be doing the inspections?
No, well, the DPS will be regulating the state inspections, but the places that like do the emissions and your commercial vehicles still have to. So it's upon the owner to make sure that your taillights are working, headlights, your horn, turn signals, wipers, brakes, tires.
Oh, wait a minute.
Make sure you have a safe car going on the road.
You still have. You don't have to get an inspection, but you still have to pay the
Yeah,
$750.
yeah, I know. So why not just keep it? I don't know. Like I said, I'm just here to spread the word.
Well, where's that going?
It goes toward the registration. I don't know.
You don't have to. Come on now.
I
It's
know.
like saying you get your electricity turned off, but you still have to pay an electric bill.
Exactly. So yeah, it's I don't know the reason behind it, but maybe it wasn't too many people were complaining about it. But a lot of the feedback I'm getting from people out on the street is like, hey, that kind of concerns me. Because
You got because you got to worry about the other driver's vehicle.
Yeah. But
Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, my opinion is I think it's because of cars, everything's computerized, and maybe that's why
Wow.
they got away from that.
Tires
having
aren't.
Yeah, I know, and that's a big thing. But our troopers actively look at those things, and we do issue citations for it. And a lot of times when we issue a ticket for the defective tires, a local JP will say, "Hey, you show proof that you got your tires fixed." They
They
usually
drop it. Yeah.
for like a $10-15 court cost, whatever. And that's what we want to see. We want to see compliance. We want to see our vehicles safer on the roadway. So,
Well,
but as of right now, halfway through the year, we're at nearly 300,000 crashes statewide with 1,704 fatalities.
what's the number of fatalities
1,704 as of yesterday.
in 6 months?
We averaged the year anywhere from 3,500 to 4,500.
So we're down.
Well, we still have to go
Well,
through
no,
our major
we're probably
holidays.
right on
not
target.
not
Yeah.
to jinx the 4th of July weekend, but this is where we see a lot of our fatalities spike, and that's why we're out there to reduce it. And also, have your Labor Day, your Thanksgiving travel season, your Christmas, and then New Year's Eve. Up until that midnight, the ball drops, we still count for 2024 those fatalities, and that's amateur night. That's where the people who don't drink all year go out and have a few drinks at the party, think they're
Get
okay,
sloshed.
get behind the wheel, and man, after midnight on New Year's Eve, we just hold our breath and just hope for the best. But that's what we say. There's ride shares out there everywhere, pretty much, and
There's really no excuse.
there's no excuse to get EWI anymore.
Now, the amount of troopers that are on the road now, has it increased since the border has been a little quiet on the Texas side?
Yeah, we still have Operation Lone Star ongoing, of course. I don't know how many the numbers that are down there, but I think it's been pulled back a little bit because it's been working. There's been a reduction in illegal crossings. It's actually just moved to like Arizona,
right?
Because we put up wire and boxes, which we're getting sued over. But hey, it works and it stunts that flow. But we're getting the troopers back to what they need to be doing out there, looking for your speeders, seatbelts, DWIs, your dangerous drivers. And the more we're out there actively enforcing the laws, we're going to keep the highway safer. I mean, and I know we're up to like 3,700 troopers, 3,500. We lose 400 or 500 a year retirement. We try to hire 600-700 a year if the money's there. But our director, Steve McCraw, he's at our in-service, talked about, they'd love to get the numbers up to 6,000. And that's really where we need to be. We've been at the same number of troopers for years, even when our population was 15 million. Now we're 30 million, 32 million.
Wow.
So you got to think all these people, and what happens to more cars, the roads aren't getting any bigger. TxDOT's doing their best to keep up with making them safer and better. And they've come a long way with it, but they just can't keep up with the infrastructure, with the amount of vehicles coming across or coming into Texas, and the amount of people coming into Texas, because Texas is the place to be. Yeah. It's the best state in the union, and everybody, our secret's out, and they're coming in droves.
And bringing their jacked up vehicles with them.
Let's hope not. Right?
Yeah. So we got more troopers for the 4th of July back on the roads again.
Yeah.
But we're still not anywhere where we need to be.
Yeah,
what about the academy? I thought you said
there's actually the school going on right now, and we're always hiring, and that's what they're looking at, the funding and trying to build our forces up, because even me in a few years, I'll be gone to have to replace me with someone maybe essential, someone who actually works for a living, who doesn't vacation all the time. But no, really, it's we get a lot. You don't realize when you have a department this big, you start in August 31st is the cutoff day where people start to retire because they get all their vacation or something for the year. There's that magic date, whatever it is. But you see the retirement notice just all over the place, and you may lose 200 to 400, and one step forward, 2 steps back. So we're actively always recruiting, looking for good men and women to do this job. It is a fun job. It's a great job.
Especially your gig.
Mine is pretty cool.
Work a day and 4 days off.
I did my time in the trenches. Like I said, people say it must be nice. I'm like, it is. It was open for everybody in the state to put in for it. I put in for it. Yeah, I was the only one that put in for it, so I got it by default.
Really?
No.
Oh.
There was 2. The other person quit. So, no. But no, it's
he knocked off the other guy.
I stopped the car this morning, and we talked about that off there. She was going pretty fast. But yeah, I'm still a trooper. When I see something dangerous and violation of law, I'll stop.
Damn, if she makes me get out of this car,
yeah,
she's going down.
At least I don't get out of the car like the truckers do when we stop. Some of these truckers, they get out, their pants are off. They're just driving down the road in their underwear. Really, I mean, they got a long ways to go. It's like, oh man, then
They're just being
they're
comfortable.
like, well, that's what you get for stopping me. I'm like, put on some pants.
Are they allowed to drive in?
Yes,
there under-
you can. I mean,
What?
You can drive in your drawers.
you can. You can drive naked, I guess. I mean, as long as you're wearing your seatbelt, it's the only thing you're wearing, seatbelt and a smile.
Huh? That's good. That's good to know.
Good. No, gosh, I just said that. He's like
just- yeah,
stripping at the parking lot, getting in that Dodge and going home.
Yeah, you just set up something.
There's gonna be all kinds of wrecks on Key Avenue. People's eyes be gouging their eyes out with the nearest pen they could find.
Well, that's up to them.
Did I just see that?
Oh no.
All right.
So yeah, just eliminate the distractions. Of course, always buckle up, slowing down, drive defensively. And if you go to a bigger area with this heavy highway, heavy traffic, big highways, if you have a minor crash, get it off the road safely if there's no injuries and minor damage. That way you don't have any secondary crashes
All
in the
right.
backup.
All right. Yeah. And Uber it, huh?
Yeah.
Just
And
Uber it.
also I saw on the news this morning, the woman in San Antonio with the 3 kids in the car, left them in there.
What?
Did you see that?
No.
She a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 1-month-old.
No.
So everybody out to listen, if you're out in Walmart, anywhere you're shopping, look at when you're walking into the store, look around it, because luckily this lady or it was a man or woman found these kids. The car was off, and it's 115 heat index. Down
People
there.
are still doing that.
Still, she's sitting in jail, but luckily the kids survived.
Oh, good.
The door was unlocked. The kids all sweating. I mean, they were near death because they looked at the surveillance and the kids were in there from the time she pulled up, turned the car off before that Samaritan got there. 50 minutes. You know how hot it gets after 50 seconds in a car?
Yes.
When I get pull up to the house, my patrol car, I turn off my car, turn off my camera, take my laptop off, grab my cell phones, my bag.
Already breaking a sweat.
30 seconds. And I'm starting like, man, it's getting hot in here. But these poor kids. And luckily the door was unlocked. I'm sure they would have broken the window, which, there's a lawyer on the radio the other day said, you're not immune from getting in trouble if you break a window to get a dog out of the car, but you are if they're people. I'd say do it either way, but that's my opinion. You can always, do a GoFundMe.
yeah.
But if you see anything living in a vehicle and it's 100 degrees, get it out. Then call 911. But do what you got to do. So luckily the kids are okay. She's in jail. She said her quote was she lost track of time. Didn't realize it.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
leave them,
stuff to do in
period,
Walmart.
I know.
in there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Sad deal, but it had a great ending because the kids survived. But that would have been 3 fatalities. I'm telling you, those kids were probably within minutes because
Wow.
there's a video. I remember a deputy. He had the big thermometers like you always had in the backyard, the big one with the big red dial. He did an experiment in his patrol car. He said, I'm going to turn it off, and he's going to hold it there. And I think after 4 minutes, it went up to over 100 degrees. And can you imagine 50 minutes? Those kids were baking in there.
Wow.
And a 1-month-old.
That is so.
It didn't
they're
specify if these were
lucky.
her kids or not, but either way, if she is babysitting, she's fired.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
least of our worries.
sad deal. So
Yeah.
when you never know when that could be you when you're walking into a gas station or a store, Walmart, HEB, anything. Just be vigilant.
aware of your
Be
surroundings,
vigilant. Always be
Casey.
vigilant.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
She's too short. She can't see in the car.
Yes.
But if you hear screams or something
Yeah.
knocking on the inside, say,
Jump
hey,
up on all the hoods of the car.
get
I'll
an
break
adult,
them out.
get a tall adult that can look in and help you out.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right.
See through the window.
Well, I tell you what. In a nutshell, just don't drink and get behind the wheel.
That's it.
And,
Ever.
yeah.
And don't leave your kids in the car.
And if you see a wrecker, trooper,
Move over and
move
slow
over,
down.
slow down.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're out there. When we take somebody to jail or these broke down vehicles, the record drivers are out there. And, they don't, with the police, there's more people that pull over for them because they think, well, I could get a ticket for that. But a lot of times with wreckers and textile workers and anybody construction wise, they don't really, give them that extra room. And there are lots of fatalities. You don't see it on the news all the time, but there's been a lot of contract workers and textile workers over the years that have been struck and killed.
Oh,
So
yeah,
just
sure. Yeah.
be
Yeah.
mindful. There's always going to be construction for the rest of our lives in this state as long as we keep growing. So just be mindful of anybody on the side of the road, whether they're changing a tire, whether they have flashing lights or not. Just give
Get
them
out
that
of the
extra.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
no,
you
there
see
was.
people that are broke down, changing a tire, watch out because sometimes their legs are sticking out the road because they're so focused on, jacking up the car and they're looking at their feet across the white line. I've seen that happen. I've seen many tragic things happen with people.
Ooh, scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be mindful. If you get a flat tire, get way off the road or take the next exit if you have to.
Yeah. Like Casey.
I had a double flat tire.
A double blowout.
A double?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does that? Only you could do that.
I barely hit a curb.
Barely.
Yeah.
Okay. So the curb. Yeah. Yeah. At 80 miles an hour. Boom.
Barely,
Yeah, I
barely
could
hit
see.
that curb and blew out 2 tires.
And
Yeah.
bent rims and
Yeah.
But
In the car's defense, it was low on air too.
Oh, the car's defense. Yeah.
and the 2 phone books she sits on, one slipped and shifted.
Yeah.
She couldn't see.
Yeah, the blocks that are on the brake. It's
Child
just
drivers, I love it.
Okay. All right, we got to get out of here. You want to play a game?
Sure.
Battle of the Sexes. Can you stick around, or you're on? Are you going to punch out and go on back on vacation?
Not on vacation. I gotta play this game and keep on working. I got work to do.
He's essential.
Are you telling us to hurry up?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I got a 10-hour day today.
All right, we need a female to call in to play Battle of the Sexes. Anybody on the either a listener or TikTok? What about Potty Mouth? Is she
Hey, maybe Potty Mouth will call in.
pretty hair Potty Mouth?
You have
Heather?
like the dump button ready every time Potty Mouth calls in.
Yeah, we're prepared. She's
Yeah.
got quite the mouth.
Yeah.
Let's
If we don't get her to call in or a female call in, you have to take on Casey. Okay.
Oh.
We know how
Okay.
much you failed at that last time.
I always do.
That was horrible. All right, we'll get back to it. 8:30, 8:30. Lamp Past is Real Country. Today's hits, yesterday's favorites. Good morning.
Ken and Casey in